Hello all, welcome back to our class. In the previous class, we learned about a stone bench, Harugallu. Today we are going to discuss about a stone wall. What is the significance of stone wall here? That we are going to learn through a poem, Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Robert Frost is the American poet who is well known for colloquial style in his poems. He is using simple language for writing his poem, just like a conversation style. Mending Wall is a dramatic narrative poem composed in blank verse. It reflects on the man made barriers prevalent in the contemporary society. There is a stone wall that separates the speaker's property from his neighbor's. In spring, the two meet to walk the wall and jointly make repairs, mending the wall. Every year, they find the wall being pulled down. The poet attributes many reasons for this. In the spring season, the poet and his neighbor meet to repair the wall. The poet doesn't feel any need for a wall. He dislikes the very idea. He wants to convince the neighbor that the wall is unnecessary. He says to his neighbor that the apple trees he grows will never eat or disturb the pine trees or the neighbor's property. But his neighbor is a strong supporter of walls. The neighbor says good friends make good neighbors. The poet questions the need for walls in the modern world. The poet feels that the neighbor looks like a savage when he carries the stone in his hand. The wall represents all physical and unhealthy man made barriers such as caste, creed, language, etc. Nature itself is against the wall. The poet stresses on the need for maintaining friendly ties among all beings. Here, the neighbor simply repeats the maxim good fences make good neighbors. Then we can go through the poem. Something there is that doesn't love a wall. Thus sends the frozen ground swell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The first four lines of Mending Wall establish the poem's broad concern as well as its form. The poem opens with a mysterious assertion: there is some force that dislikes walls. It spends the next three lines describing the attempts of that force to topple a wall down. It sends frost underneath the wall, causing the ground to swell. When the summer sun later melts that frost, some of the wall stones become dislodged, opening gaps wide enough for two people to pass through side by side. The force, the thing that doesn't love a war, remains unnamed. The opening lines thus establish a question. The reader is invited to speculate about what the force is and why it might oppose the very existence of a wall. This mystery makes the lines feel weighty, as though the deepest mysteries of life are being explored here. But the language of the lines is simple and conversational, except for the compound word. Which is the compound word used here? Frozen ground swell. The lines contain two words longer than two syllables. പോയിട്ട് പറയുകയാണ്, ഈ ലോകത്തിൽ എന്തോ ഒന്ന്, മതിലുകൾ ഇഷ്ടപ്പെടാത്ത എന്തോ ഒന്ന് ഈ ലോകത്തിലുണ്ട്. അതെന്ത് ചെയ്യാണ്? കല്ലുകൾ മാറ്റുകയാണ്. ഈ മതിലിനിടയ്ക്കുള്ള കല്ലുകൾ വേണ്ടെന്ന് വയ്ക്കുകയാണ്. മനുഷ്യർ മാത്രമല്ല ഇതിന് പിറകിലെന്നും മൃഗങ്ങൾക്കും പ്രകൃതിയിലെ ചില പ്രതിഭാസങ്ങൾക്കും ഇതിൽ പങ്കുണ്ടെന്നാണ് കവി വ്യക്തമാക്കുന്നത്. The poet says that something asked nature to cool down the earth below the wall and warm up the boulders or stones in the wall, thus wreaking havoc upon the wall itself. The boulders or the stone start to crumble from all of the natural action. As a result of said natural action, the wall has gaps big enough for two people to pass through comfortably, holding hands. That's a big gap. And if two people can pass through the wall easily, just imagine what else can pass through. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair, where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding, to please the helping dogs, the gaps I mean. No one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. The poet must clean up after the hunters. Means the poet repaired the wall after the hunters. He says, I have come after them instead of I came after them, giving us the impression that this is a common occurrence. The speaker follows like a parent rebuilding the parts of the wall that they destroy. Little bunnies or rabbits like to hide inside the wall from the hunters. And so, in turn, the hunters tear down the wall to find them, to please the helping dogs. Okay, thank you, children. We can meet in the next class.